Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for September 10th, 2023. So this was a good reading week. If you talk about my audiobooks, work was really quiet a lot of the days, so I was able to listen to audiobooks while I did my work. So that worked out really well because a lot of my stuff is computer, but there wasn't very many people coming in and out. Friday was a little bit more busier, but rest of the days were pretty quiet. My physical reading wasn't what I wanted it to be. I kind of restarted my island on Animal Crossing on Monday, on our Labor Day. So I did have Monday off, and I kind of decided I wanted to get back to Animal Crossing at some point, and I restarted my island. Or did I start it Sunday? I don't know, but I started it one of those 2 days and played it on the holiday at the weekend, and then I continued on every night this week. And then yesterday I was on it for like 4 hours, playing it, but I was listening to an audiobook at the same time because, again, you can do that. It's easier once you get deeper into the game. Anyway, I was just having fun, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm gonna probably play here after I finish filming this and get this uploaded. So my week was fine. My mother's week was horrible. So I just want to put it out there. My poor mother, she got stung by some wasps a couple of days ago and swelled up really bad and got on antibiotics. And she's fine on that. But Saturday she woke up with extreme pain on one of her sides. I'm not sure which side, because she just had her appendix out last night. They had her get surgery last night. So she is in the hospital right now, and she'll be getting out this morning. So she's fine. Everything went well. It was just inflamed. It did not burst. So, but it was, I don't think any of us expected the appendix to do that because I guess you never know. Anyway, point is that my poor mom has had a really bad week. So, anyway, my week was nothing compared to what my poor mom just went through. So anyway, so she'll be getting home from the hospital today, so we will call her. My brother and I did offer to come down, but it's just she's not gonna feel up to us being there, so we'll go visit her maybe next weekend. Anyway, but we'll definitely talk to her when she gets out. So that was a kind of a interesting twist last night. Anyway, so I did finish a lot of things. As I said, audiobook wise was pretty much what I did due to work. And then, as I said, when I got home at night, I just didn't feel like reading physically, which, again, if you've been here a while, you know that physically I read usually a way more than I do audiobooks. Audiobooks kind of fluctuate, kind of come and go. Like, I'll listen a lot for a day or two, and then I will switch. This week was like almost all audiobooks, and then I'd come home, play my video game, and then I wouldn't really read anything later. So there's a book that I'm in the middle of that I would like to say I'm going to finish this next week, but it's a big book and I just haven't got around to it. So, Cooper is here, and if you hear rustling in the back, Truman is playing with this, ball that they found. That was a toy that I bought them years ago. They just rediscovered it, and it makes kind of crinkling noises, and he's batting it around the house. So in case you hear that, that's where Truman is. I guess it's his favorite toy right now because he carries it around in his mouth. It's so cute. Anyway, that to say, as a big opening. Anyway, so I'm gonna go through these. I read a lot, so this is gonna be a long video. just to be aware. So Sunday, so let's talk about my two. Well, okay, one's a firm DNF and one is a soft DNF. So we'll talk about those first, and then we'll talk about the books I read and the ones I'm in the middle of and what I think I'm going to read this next week. So I DNF'd A Discovery Witches by Deborah Harkness. So I know, and when I read it, I understood why people enjoy this and like this urban fantasy, but I think I knew going in that there was something that was holding me back of why I had never picked it up, even though urban fantasy is like my favorite genre. And I really, and usually enjoy those things. But I wrote back on here, I just couldn't handle the characters' logic for things that were going on in them. I made it to 208. So I had almost, I really almost DNF'd it at 188, and then I go, okay, let me try a little bit more, and I got to 208, and I was just like, okay, I'm done. That was the nail in the coffin. So this is story about, of course I don't remember her name, Diana, who finds or gets asked for a very special book, but she doesn't know it's special. She's just looking at it for her research at Oxford, and then she sends it back, but she feels some kind of magic connection to it, but she is kind of rejecting her witch legacy, and so she doesn't do anything about it. And then everybody wants that book that she accidentally discovered. And so there's a lot of factions who are now entering her life, and she's like, she doesn't want anything to do with it, but it's happening anyway. And then there's Matthew, who is a vampire who has been looking for this book for many years as well, and he kind of comes in and more takes on a protector role. So that's as far as I got, but I started hating their decisions about the 200 or 190 210 mark, because he was doing things I didn't want him to do, or was starting to keep secrets. And well, he already had secrets. I mean, he's a very old vampire, but you know, and she was just making dumb decisions considering her background. And it was the more things that happened that she learned about her past and things that happened, you know, things she didn't do anything I thought she should do. Like, she was just like ignoring it all, or kind of going in on herself, like just not asking questions of people who would know the answers, or would at least give her some background to it or something. I just felt like it escalates in a way that I couldn't get behind. Like, I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's dumb. So I understand, like, again, but I think I was being too critical in a lot of ways. But I got to the point where I didn't want to read. I wasted most of Sunday trying to read this book, and I just was like, I can't keep forcing myself to read a book that I'm not enjoying. And again, I don't think it's bad. I think it's just hit my buttons on certain things in urban fantasy, that if you don't give me a logical reason for certain things early enough, I'm not gonna, especially when my main characters are making decisions that I'm like, blatantly, I think that is so obvious. What the heck? Like, I don't get it. So I think that, I know people love this series. I know that it's, you know, very well beloved. I'm obviously in the minority on this one, but you know, everybody likes their own thing. I just found certain things I really was enjoying the beginning, but as I said, I got to a certain point and I just went, oh no, we're done. And I just had to put it down so I wouldn't go into a slump, because it was annoying me. So anyway, sorry about that, guys. I know a lot of people really enjoy that book, but it was not for me. And it's just, you know, and again, that's how it is. Some of the books that I love, other people do not love. That is a book that just is not for me. So I'm sorry, but all of you who like that series, it's just not for me. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. It just hit certain things that I don't like in books. The other book is I have on pause, and it's not a full DNF yet. I'm just trying to see if I can make myself read it. I'm just not sure. And that is The Tropic of Serpents, a memoir of Lady Trent by Marie Brennan. This is book 2 in the Lady Trent series. So I really enjoyed book 1. I recently read it a second time last year or earlier this year. I can't remember when I did it. And I've been meaning to carry on, and I thought, oh, this is a 5-book series. I'd really like to get it done this year. So I have the audiobook for this as well. And I got to 122 pages, and then I had to set it down. And the problem I'm having with this is that it's still written. Again, this is another really well-written book. It's not that I'm not, I don't think, it's having trends in it that I'm not enjoying. Mostly it has to do with gossip and things that, you know, rumors of, you know, and impropriety kind of things for, again, a Victorian age, because this is a fantasy world that's kind of like the Victorian age. And Lady Trent, in this, from things that happened in the first book, I don't want to say because I don't want to spoil anything, but she is on another expedition, and it's in a different country, very different from the last one. So that was cool, learning certain things. There's certain things about that culture I didn't like, and I'm not sure I want to read about that part of the culture. I haven't really got to any of the dragons, but anyway, so I got 122 in. It was starting to go kind of drama-ish in a way that I didn't want that. I want the adventure. I want the like, I don't mind the political stuff or, you know, I don't know. It was turning very gossipy and of things, and she's hinting at things that are going to happen later. And I don't enjoy that. And I know you're not supposed to, because it's against her, and you kind of, you know, feel for her, but I'm also like, I don't want to deal with that. So I don't know. If it's a huge part of this book, I don't know if I'm going to make it through. I don't own the other books in this series, but I was really hoping to continue on and read this one. So I don't know. I'm not sure on this one. So if you guys think it's worth it, that I should continue on, let me know. Or if that gossipy part of it, reputation stuff, is going to really annoy me, just let me know. Anyway, so that's, okay, so this video is going to be long. Anyway, but again, I read a lot of things. So those are the two that, one full DNF, getting rid of that book. Second one, I'm not sure about. So you'll have to let me know. So on Monday, because I DNF'd Discovery Witches, I picked up my library book of Thornhenge by T. Kingfisher. So this is kind of like a fantasy, kind of a short novel. It's just like 115 pages. It's kind of like a twist on Sleeping Beauty, and kind of. And we're following Toadling, who is there guarding a castle behind all these brambles, and she is we get her story and why she's there, and then a knight comes who has heard legend of this castle, and then it's their interaction, and then what happens through that. And again, we get a lot of the history of Toadling and stuff like that. I don't want to give too much. This is not a very long book. This was not a favorite of mine from T. Kingfisher. I really, I think it's still good. I think it was interesting. I liked the way it went. Like, I really enjoyed it. There was a spot there near the beginning that I was kind of like, do I really want to read this? Like, it kind of dragged a little bit. But then it got better. Middle to the end was really good. So I really enjoyed this in the end. It was just a little slow start for me. For such a short novel, as I said, 115 pages, so a novella, it was kind of a slow start. Anyway, but overall, I really enjoyed this. This is not going to be one I pick up that I'm going to own, I don't think. I don't think I want to reread it. But I liked it, and this is her newest release. I was one of the first people from my library to get it, so I wanted to read it and give it back to them, which I have. So other people can read it, because I think, again, as I said, I really liked it. It's just not my favorite T. Kingfisher, which, you know, happens. What else did I read that day? Oh, it's still on here. That's why I was like, what the heck? And then also that afternoon, I listened to Knot of Shadows by Lois McMaster Bujold, which is book 11 and the final book in the Pendrick and Desdemona series that is published at this point. I don't know if she has plans to continue on, but I have completed the series. So I listened to this on audio. Again, this is by Grover Gardner. Really well done, the whole series. I got them all from my library. I really enjoyed this fantasy. So Pendrick and Desdemona, again, is a man who has a demon attached to him, and they have a lot of adventures. Again, this is book 11, so I can't say too much about this one, except that I liked the last one. Like, it was pretty good. It was not one of my favorites, but again, it was just another good adventure of things that happen with him. Anyway, so I'm glad that that one is finally that series. I've completed that this year. I started it in January or February. And so again, they were short audiobooks. I made it through all of them. And so I really enjoyed that series. If you want a fantasy series that is all novellas, or, you know, one of them is kind of a bigger book, but it's not bigger compared to the novellas. There's like 250 pages and less. I think all of them are. Most of them are like 100 to 180. So they were all quick listens, because I did all of them on audio for my library on Libby. So I would recommend them if you want a fantasy that is not like super gigantic novels. So I do have the first book in the series that takes place in the same world as the World of the Five Gods. I have the Chalice of, oh, I put the book in the other room, like Chalion or something. And I don't own the other 2 books in that trilogy, but I think they were published before the Pendrick series. So I'm going to go back and read the novels maybe next year. I don't think I'm going to get to it this year, but I would definitely will be in the same world, which is an interesting, I said I liked her, her gods and things like that, and the things that happened in that book. So anyway, I'm really happy I got that series done. So I have 1 series done. Oh, I do want to say I'm taking part in Series September, which is why all of these books so far have been series books, except for the library book, because that was just because I had it. So Series September is being put on by Sarah at Sarah's Nightstand and Krista at Books and Jams. So I'm a big series reader anyway, but I'm trying this month to be everything except for that 1 library book to be a series book of some sort. So that is kind of where I'm going with that. So what did I read next? Oh, okay. So I think I started some audiobooks at work. The first one I read, I didn't make a copy of it here. But I'll just show this. So I went back to the Chronicles of St. Mary's series. So I read the first book, Just Another Damn Thing, back in 2017. So when I first joined BookTube, I read that one, and I collected a few of the books, but I didn't get any farther than that first book. I did read the short story, the very first damned thing. So it's technically 0.5 in the series. Really, I should have waited until I had gotten deeper in the series, because this was published about 3 or 4 years after the first novel, and then a couple others, because there's names dropped in here that I don't have a clue with who they are. But it was an interesting way to get back into the world. This is a world where historians have this. St. Mary's has this kind of technology that allows them to go back in time and to see what really happened at a historical event. They're not supposed to interact, so it is a time travel, but she calls it something else. They don't call it time travel. They call it something else. Like they say they go back. Our main task is to investigate major historical events in contemporary time. So they go back to look at things. Anyway, so I read this one. It's like 80 pages. The 0.5. I would wait if you do want to read the series. Don't start there. The only reason I did that is because I found that on audio. I think I found it on Audible Plus or something. I don't know. I found it somewhere. I had it, or either I bought it at some time and I didn't know it. It was on my Audible. So I listened to that short story. So this is the first half of the series. They're short stories. So I'm going to keep that out for when I get to those other books. But I did reread Just One Damn Thing After Another. So this is following Max, or Dr. Maxwell. She is brought on to St. Mary's and is inducted into their to become one of their historians, and get to travel in time and to go see things. And so some of their adventures. This book is definitely like a first book in a series. There's a lot of stuff dropped at us or given to us, but I think it ends up pretty well on the stuff that happens within this book. I think there's still, I definitely want to continue the book. The series is pretty long. I don't remember how many, there was a lot of books. I have like 2 others, the 2 next to I think I own, and then again I have the short story collection. So we'll see. I want to continue on at least to the next book, A Symphony of Echoes. I think that's what it is, and try to see, and get myself into that. So I did listen to this also on audio, and the second book I have physically, but I'm waiting for the audio for my library. They have it. So this one I owned. So anyway, I really, as I said, this was great to come back to this one, because I didn't remember, I remembered certain things. I knew some bad thing happened that I was upset about the first time I read this book. It again happened, and I got through it. It was interesting too. As I said, now that I've gotten into it, I do want to continue this series. So again, another reread of part of a series in order to continue on. I've done another one, but I'm really excited that I restarted this. And again, the reason I restarted this is because I was doing my series tracker. I was putting down series and I saw these books on my shelves. I'm like, oh yeah, I have to get back to that series. Oh, I guess I might have the first 4 books. Anyway, point is that I'm going to try to get to the second book this month. My library said about 2 weeks for the audiobook, so we will see. Sorry. Okay, what else? What did I finish next? I think what I finished next is I did another Lady Hardcastle audiobook, The Fatal Flying Affair by T.E. Kinsley. I think this one's audio, some of the audios I forgot to write down. So this one I know is Elizabeth Noland. Really well done. I love the Lady Hardcastle series and the audiobook. It's just, they are just so funny. And I like the actual personal connections and the banter back more than I like the mysteries. But this was a good one about Lady Hardcastle kind of is working for the government again, and she and Flo are asked to look into this airplane manufacturer, and this is a couple of years before the Great War, I think. So it was interesting because it was about talking about the planes at that time in the early 1910s. I don't remember if it was 1912 or 13. I don't remember what year this thing takes place. It's close to that, and we got to see stuff about that and, you know, them working on things like the parachute and different ways of making the plane engine so they last longer and are more effective. It was really interesting. And the mystery was kind of there was things that happened all over the place. Like, it was good that way. It just doesn't, my attention is really on the main characters, Lady Hardcastle, Flo, and Lady Hardcastle's brother was in this as well a lot. And I just love their interaction. It just makes me laugh. They're just funny. You know, just funny. And so, again, this was book number 7. And I own 2 more. And book number 10 just released. So I'm probably going to buy that somewhere this year. So I'm hoping this is another series that I'll get caught up on before the end of the year. But I really enjoyed this. I'm glad I'm continuing with the Lady Hardcastle series. I think, as I said, I'm hoping to finish or get caught up by the end of the year, but we will see. As I said, we'll see. I might even get another one this month. I then came back to Children of Time by Andrea Jakowski. Also, I had this on audio. I bought it a long time on some deal because this is a book that I had abandoned at $3.23. I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago. I know this was a BookTube darling, and a lot of people love this book, and for some reason I just set it down and never came back to it. So this year, this was on my books, my self-destruct books, so I'm making my way through that. I've actually done really well. I haven't actually completed many. I DNF'd most of them on that list, but I still have about 4 more to go through or to figure out. But this was one of them, and so this one I actually finished. I really enjoyed. I can't remember I forgot to write down my, audiobook narrators. I think it was Mel Hudson or something close to that. I don't remember. But she did a really good job. Again, you don't want to read this if you don't like spiders. So this is, following, a group of humans who are leaving, Earth, after many, like, really far into the future where Earth is pretty much destroyed, and they are looking for a home, and they are on this ship. And then there's also this planet that was set up to be kind of an experiment, and something goes wrong at that time, and that was in the past, and only what's left is the virus that they released on the planet, which helps to accelerate intelligence. And then there's a small satellite that orbits that has its own things to do with that. And then it's this between species things, the differences in the evolutions and things that happened. Again, I really enjoyed the science or the ideas of this, especially the way he did how the aliens, how the creatures on this planet, how they evolved and how they changed things, and how they grew when they got smarter, and it changes things. I don't know. It was really interesting because, again, I don't know a lot about the biology of a spider, but it was really interesting the way and the behaviors and stuff. So it was really interesting. I think that's the best part of this book is the spiders. The human part is just like, okay, but I did like the way it all came in climactic end. I really enjoy this. I'm actually on the fence now if I really want to continue this series. I think this was good. I'm glad I read it. It's not a book that I'm going to probably keep, but I'm trying to decide now if I want to continue on and read the next in the series. So if you have read Children of Ruin or Children of Memory and you think they're good enough to continue on, let me know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I did start another series and I'm not sure I'm going to continue this one. So we will see. This is on my kind of, maybe I'll read that. Maybe not. I don't know. I haven't decided. And then, the last two things that I finished, was on Friday night. I went and finished the last 2 volumes of The Savior's Book Cafe Story in Another World, volumes 4 and 5. And I've been putting it off because I knew the end was coming. And this is just kind of a sweet fantasy where a young woman in her 30s is sent to this other world. She is offered a chance to be the savior, but she doesn't want to be acknowledged as that. She wants to be very quiet. But he sets her up as in this, she gets to choose what she wants to do. She wants to be in a cafe. She wants a cafe that's full of books that are new ones will just pop up and they'll last for, like the series that she's reading books will show up, and then she can cook, really tasty things with the help of magic and stuff. And so she sets up this cafe, and, one of the knights in the kingdom finds the place, and then they kind of befriend each other, and then goes on. And then there's a lot of things politically that happen, and then people that they meet and things that changed. I really liked the last volume. I liked the way that I was kind of surprised at the twist, not the twist, it's not really a twist, but I meant like how the politically things changed, and how she and Il, which is the guy, I can't, her name just went out of my head. Kina, something like that. And how they interact with other people in the kingdom, and also foreign people who are there for good or bad reasons. Anyway, I really, really enjoyed this series. It's just a 5-volume manga series. Again, I don't buy much manga anymore, so a lot of times I get it from the library, but my library did not have these. And so I bought the first one, and then I really enjoyed it, and so I continued it. But I really enjoyed this series. I'm glad I will probably reread this at some point, but I did enjoy that. So those are all the books that I finished. And I did finish a series. That's a series finisher. So I started a lot of things, but and I continued series, and I finished one. Isn't that good? So what am I currently reading? So currently, yesterday, due to my brain being a little upset with not being able to do anything after I found out my mother went to the hospital, I picked up a reread just because I didn't want to pick up anything else. So I picked up The 6 Sacred Stones by Matthew Riley. This is book 2 in the Jack West Jr. series. This is a series that I read the first 3 books as they came out, and then he had a hiatus between that and book 4, and then by then years had passed, and then he's now finished the series, but I didn't remember anything from it because I'd read these so early, like over 10 years ago. So I read The 7 Deadly Wonders last year, and this year I was supposed to read this one and number 5 at least, and to try to get back into the series, but I just want to get 6 done this year, and we'll see what happens. But maybe I can slip 5 in later. But I'm almost done. I have about 120 pages. Yeah, about 120 pages left of this. I read a good chunk of this last night, just because I was trying to get my mind off my mom. And so this is an adventure novel series, and it has to do with like ancient texts and ancient technologies and stuff that are really actually fantastical. This is so unrealistic, but it's just so much fun. But it has to do with military groups in the world of our day who are trying to gain these ancient powers and stuff. So this is book 2 in the series. I have no idea. As I said, I've only read through book the 3rd book, so I don't know where it goes in the end. But I do remember really enjoying this. These are easy, fluffy reads for me. I mean, even though there's a lot of death and people getting hurt but they're like crazy actions, and he has one of the only authors I know who has a lot of diagrams and things inside his stuff. Let's see, yeah, so there's like maps and oh, I'm gonna lose it. Right. Like he just has, there's just things inside, and like their puzzles are all, like ancient puzzles, and I think he does a really good job of that. It's just, these aren't the best like written books, but I think they're just fun adventure novels. And so there's this series and another one that I read a long time ago that I want to get back to them and finish them. So this year I'm going to try to get my rereads done. We'll see if I get to the third book, but I'm almost done with book 2. And then I will hopefully get to 5 Greatest Warriors later this year, but we'll see. But this was really helpful to read something that's I've read before, even that's been over 10 years. I think it's over 10 years. It was a long time ago whenever I read this. 2008. Yeah, I must have read this because it was Goodreads. I marked it as read, but there's no dates. So it was before I joined Goodreads, and that was 2010. So I'm guessing I read that before. I'd have to go back to my other notes to my notebook to see what year it was exactly. But anyway, so I'm going to read this adventure novel probably today. I'm hoping to finish this today. My audiobook that I'm listening to right now is The Iron Council by China Melville, which is book 3 in the Baslog or the new Crobazone series. Perdido Station is the first book. The Scar is the second. So I reread Perdido Station earlier this year. I then read The Scar not too soon after that, and I really enjoyed both of them. The reread for Perdido Station, I think that was like my 3rd time reading it, and I really enjoyed it. And again, I did these all on audio. The Scar was really good. I mean, not like perfect or anything, but I really enjoyed the ride. I hate this book. I don't know what I'm going to do. I am just over half. I'm at 350, and it's 615 pages. I have 5 hours on audio left of this, and I'm probably going to try to just get through it. I want to see if this connects in any way to the other 2 books. It's supposed to be later than those, and it has this whole it's kind of, it's not steampunk, it's weird fantasy. So Perdido Station, New Crobazone is this city. It's just this wide, and it's not a great city. There's a lot of the slums and the gangs and their stuff, and then there's the politicians and stuff, and so there's a lot of stuff going on. We saw the scientists more in Perdido Station. The Scar was more showing people who had gotten away from the city and were actually living in kind of a different city on the water. And it was so interesting. The ending was bizarre. But anyway, and I didn't like the ending of the other one either. So but the point is I want to know what happens with this one. This one has to do with the railroad system, but it's told in a weird way. Like we have a first timeline of people trying to look for somebody else, and they're going around, but they're getting, things are not going well for them in these very hostile areas out in the wilderness. And then we get kind of this backstory about the Iron Council. And then, because again, that's what the people in the beginning are trying to find. And and then there's this other timeline within New Crobazone in the city and what they're doing. And I'm not seeing it match up yet. Again, I do still have 265 pages of this book, so I'm sure things will probably mesh together a little bit better right now. It's just, to me, it's just all in I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't understand. So, this is not a good book for me, but I want to finish it still because I want to finish the series. I do still have four of his books that I want to read for sure. So, but are not in a series. They're all standalone. So I might next year try to read those periodically, try to get through all my backlist of him, because he is one of those authors which his ideas are fantastic, but I mostly hate all his characters. There's no, I don't love them, but I want to see what happens to them because, the things they get, I don't know how that works, but his worlds are just fantastical and the other 2 books in this series I really enjoyed because there's so many weird things we're getting to see. This one is just kind of compared to those. Like, there's not as much to this one as the other ones for me for world building. I mean, we're meeting a lot of people, and it has to do with the railroad system, but it's just not the same. I don't know. So anyway, so we'll see. I'm going to try to get this done in the first part of the week. You know, between me playing Animal Crossing at night and also, you know, work, I should be able to get this done in the next couple days. So, but then I'll finish a series. So that was my other thing. This was one of my series that I was planning to read and finish this year. So that would be nice to actually do one of those. So the book that I kind of set aside, because to read the my Matthew Riley book, is because I have started House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. So I am 200 pages in, 212. And I'm enjoying it, but my brain is not connecting to it right this minute. And I think it's just because work was just so, I listened to so much audio that when I got home and then I played Animal Crossing and then I had time to read, I just didn't feel like picking it up very much. And I read like 40 or 50 pages a night. So that's why I'm at like just over 200 pages. Because I didn't pick this up on, I don't think I read much. No, I didn't read anything on Friday. And then yesterday I didn't read anything. So it's not that it's bad either. I'm really enjoying it. I loved getting back to these characters after rereading House of Earth and Blood, to see where they are a few months out. So again, this is the second book in the Crescent City series. And so we're still following Bryce and a lot of the people that we met in the other book, and then new people are showing up. There was one point where my mouth just dropped at who was somebody that was mentioned, but I didn't quite get it. And it was like a great reveal. Anyway, but we're only 200 pages in, and I know it's over 800. It's like 801 or whatever. So anyway, I'm hoping to get back to this week and try to finish this. As I said, I picked up another chunky book. I'm reading a lot of big books right now. And then I have like so many other books I want to hit to, but I'm kind of like trying to get all the big ones out of the way early, and then I can just kind of binge all the shorter ones, I think. I don't know. Anyway, but I want to get this done this week, so I'm probably going to try to plan out like to read at least, I think, like 80 pages a day so that it's done by Saturday, but we will see. It just matters on my mood. Again, I really am enjoying it. I'm also worried about what's going to happen in the end because of the stuff I've been spoiled for. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. And then the other book that I am currently reading is The Secrets of Hartwood Hall by Katie Lunsden. Again, Katie from Books and Things. So I'm joined a read-along for the month of September, for Secret September, put on by Charlie Heathcote and Charlie Books Reads. So we are actually discussing this today. They've already discussed everything because I am in a time zone so far beyond them that they've all talked about it already. I haven't listened to all the messages yet. I will later this morning. So we read the first section for the first 10 days because it was a really big section. It was about 115 pages. So we're discussing that. Again, I started this in June and read about 60 pages, and then a couple, like in July or August, I read another 10, 15 pages, and then now I read the last 20 pages to finish the section. This is a Gothic Victorian novel following Margaret, who is a governess, but she has just recently come back into service because she had been married and her husband had passed away. So she has a lot of things going on with her secrets with that. And then she takes a job at Hartwood Hall, which is, she is looking after a young boy. And there's a lot of things going on, a lot of secrets in that place with the people who work there and the mother of the boy, and secrets of people who had passed away before that. And they don't have a great relationship with the town, and there's kind of speculation on a lot of stuff in here. So there's a lot of stuff going on. We don't know everything after 115 pages. So this is, I think this is a very atmospheric book. I think it's very much reminiscent of Gothic novels in the way that there's so much atmosphere and you feel the tension and things that are going on. So I'm gonna, as I said, I don't know how I feel about this all. I'm having some trouble with some things that just, Not with the book. It's the character, like there's just this one character, I just want to kill her off. Like just, I mean, if you've read the book, you probably know what I'm talking about. I just want to kill her. Like just get her out of the way. Like, I just hate people like that. So it's like, I know that we're supposed to feel that way. I know that they're, just from the discussion I have heard, that we're doing on Voxer, some people have made some suggestions that I did not think about. So it's really interesting to read it with a group. I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. We have 50 pages I'll have to read before next Sunday. So I am listening to this on audio from the library. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hold it for the whole time. I will be able to get through the next 2 sections, at least. The last section, which is actually section 4 and 5, will be the last week of the month. I might have to read those physically. We'll see. It just depends. Anyway, point is that this is going well. I don't know where it's going, like the way that the section ended. But I have a lot of questions, which is good. So we will see what I'll be continuing on with that. And then, the only book that I plan to start this next week, I have a lot of options, audio as well as physical, of other series that I'm going to get to, but I am starting my buddy read with On the Edge by Alona Andrews with Tea and All the Books. She and I have been, again, reading through all the Alona Andrews series. We have 2 series left, this one and the Kingsman universe. So this one has to do, I think it's like, is the edge is like between 2 worlds. Like some people can go like across, and she's one of these. This character Rose is one of those people who can do that, and she and one side it has kind of nobles and are fairy tale-ish. I don't know if they're. I hope they're not fae, but I don't know what they are. I don't know. And then there's the other side, the more normal side, and somehow she gets kind of brought into things. I'm not sure. Anyway, point is that we're going to read it over this week. I haven't tabbed it. I have to do that today is figure out what sections we're going to read. Unless she's done it already. I have to go check. But anyway, we're going to start this tomorrow. And if we enjoy this, we will continue the series. Because I already own all 4 books in the series. So hopefully we'll enjoy it. And then we'll finish out. We'll do 1 a month, I think. We'll see. Anyway, so, oh, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. I think that's everything. That is, I mean, I did listen to a lot of audio. Some of the days I listened all day at work because it was quiet with everybody doing stuff. And then I could just work on my computer and write emails all day. And then I said physically I didn't read quite as much because I wanted to read House of Sky and Breath, but, it just didn't work out. Sorry about my DNFs, but let me know on any of this stuff, on any of these series, which ones I should continue, which ones I should just let go. What are you guys reading for series September? Are you doing The Secrets of Hartwood Hall? Let me know if you got what you guys are up to. Sorry for the long video, but I did get through a lot. I feel like I missed something, but whatever. As I said, if you want to be more on top of when I read stuff and when I finish it, I do post on Instagram every book that I read, regardless of size, and I'm just marking down how many books I'm at, and I'm close to the 200 mark. So hopefully in the next week or so I'll get there. So we'll see, because I have a lot of these books I'd like to get done this week. So we'll see what happens. So anyway, I think that's it. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.